start?
Yeah, just give them time in between.
Yeah,
Right?
I'll wait. I'll just
Okay, you
try
can
to
see.
wait till I get to the mound.
Yeah, they're gonna take a picture and stuff, so maybe wait till they're. I'll maybe stay here for the first one. We'll just kind of time out. But go ahead.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Kerrywood Field. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning as we celebrate Lane Tech Baseball seniors. Let's jump right in and begin by introducing our senior players. First up is Carson Berg. Carson is accompanied by his mother Leslie, his father Joe, and his brother Gavin. Next year, Carson will be attending the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
I think there'll be a little bit of a backup, so we'll just wait and see how long this first picture takes, because otherwise they'll get through and then.
Yeah.
I just want to see how long it's going to take her to take a picture.
Next up is senior Andrew Contreras. Andrew is accompanied by his parents, Colleen and Robert, and his sister, Annabella. Next year, Andrew will be studying integrated business and engineering at Purdue University.
So I think maybe it looks like she's pretty quick. So I think maybe when they get to the mound, you can start the next one.
You might just want to stand.
Is that? Am I doing that? Okay, sorry.
No, it's not you, but.
Next up is senior Louis Darashin. Louis is accompanied by his parents, Karen Sater and Dan. Next year, Louis will be studying political science at Colgate University. Next up is senior Jeffrey Capp. Jeffrey is accompanied by his parents, Lynn and Jeff. Next year, Jeffrey will be attending the University of California at Santa Barbara, studying biochemistry and molecular biology, and possibly surfing. Next up is senior Giannis Katsagradakis. Giannis is accompanied by his mother, Irene Ireland, his father, Giannis, and his sister, Maria. Next year, Giannis will be playing football at the University of Chicago and majoring in molecular engineering. Next up is senior Josh Katz. Josh is accompanied by his parents, Rachel and Howard, and his brothers, Andrew and Noah. Next year, Josh will be playing baseball at the University of Pennsylvania and majoring in economics. Next up is senior Adam Kunzvitsky. Adam is accompanied by his parents, Karen and Brian, and his sister, Nora. Next year, Adam will be attending Michigan State University.
Sparty.
Next up is senior Jacob Meza. Jacob is accompanied by his mother, Shannon, and his father, Eric. Next year, Jacob will be playing baseball at Webster University and studying exercise science. Our next senior is Jack Pelican. Jack is accompanied by his mother, Laura, and his father, Tony. Next year, Jack will be attending the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and majoring in business. Next up is senior Mark Seward. Mark is accompanied by his parents, Renata and Edward. Next year, Mark will be studying computer engineering at Iowa State University. Our next senior is Zachary Sharp. Zachary is accompanied by his mother, Debbie, and his father, Brian. Next year, Zach will be majoring in business at Miami University in beautiful Oxford, Ohio. Next up is senior Zach Joshua. Zach is accompanied by his parents, Andrea and Abe. Next year, Zach will be a Hoosier, attending Indiana University and studying business finance.
Do you turn it off in between?
Yeah.
There's a power.
Yeah. It's just,
Okay.
Our next senior is Lucino Sotelo. Lucino is accompanied by his mother Maria and his father Lucino. Next year, Lucino will be studying at the Geese College of Business at the University of Illinois. Next up is senior Rohan Thurivatikal. Rohan is accompanied by his mother, Nina Wilfred, and his father, George. Next year, Rohan will be at St. Louis University, studying aerospace engineering. Our final senior baseball player is Jack Serber. Jack is accompanied by his parents, Amy and TJ, and his sister, Sydney. Next year, Jack will be studying finance at the University of Miami in sunny Florida. Let's hear it for our senior players and their families.
Now it's time to introduce the people who actually do all the work for the team, our senior managers. First off, Elena Christopoulos. Elena is accompanied by her mother, Libby. And next year, Elena will be majoring in finance at Indiana University. And pretending that she doesn't know Zach Joshua. Our next manager is Alora Ramirez. Alora is accompanied by her mom, Sherilyn Maddox. Next year, Alora will be attending Loyola University Chicago and studying biology. Go Ramblers. Our third senior manager is Kaya Smola. Kaya is accompanied by her mother, Kasha. Next year, Kaya will be majoring in health sciences at the University of Missouri. Our last senior manager is Gracie Wallace. Gracie is accompanied by her mother, Karen. Next year, Gracie will be studying civil engineering at Stanford University. And our last senior, I'd like to introduce our wonderful announcer who has been the voice of Lane Tech baseball for 4 years, Alex Burstein. Alex is accompanied by his parents, Kate and JB. Next year, Alex will be attending Syracuse University to study broadcast and digital journalism. Can we have one last round of applause for our seniors?
take a photo of it. I'm sorry. I was like, I'm waiting for you on the field.
And we are back here at Kerry Wood Field Senior Day 2023, and we have a good matchup as well as the Lane Tech champions look for one final win before the Public League playoffs get ready to start on Monday. Lane Tech will be making their debut on Tuesday, but first, 15 seniors getting honored here tonight for Lane Tech, and we will see if they can come home with a win here on Senior Day 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. My name's Alex Burstein, here in the press box at Kerry Wood Field. Apologies, folks. We will get the camera back up and running in 1 second. We're just trying to get our scorecard all filled out first, but it will be Lane Tech in the field defensively as they are the home team, and then we'll see them hit in the bottom of the first. This is a Chicago Hope Academy team that comes in with a 19-win record, They have been very, very solid this year. They play in a smaller school conference because they are a 1A school. However, they've not shied away from some top opponents this year. They have played some tough teams. Last night they came here to Kerry Wood Field and they beat DePaul College Prep 4-0. They shut out the Rams. So this is a team that has shown they are winners, and we will see what they can do against this Lane Tech team here tonight. We were set for a 10 a.m. first pitch, and it looks like we're actually going to be somewhat close to that. So we should get ready to go in just a minute or two, and with that we will get you your starting lineups first for Lane Tech defensively. 1 second, folks, just loading up our photos of the lineup cards here. It was about a 30-minute pre-game senior ceremony. We hope you could have joined us for that and enjoyed it. And with that, we'll take you around the field for the champions. It's an all-senior starting lineup for Lane Tech tonight. On the mound for the champions is going to be the senior left-handed pitcher Lucino Sotelo. Makes his first start in a couple of weeks. Last start was a Game 1 loss to Von Steuben 2 or 3 weeks back. Catching for him tonight is going to be Zach Joshua. And he's also hitting lead. He's also hitting leadoff tonight. Jeffrey Kapp will be in the 2 spot. He's playing at second base. Louis Dershin hitting third, and at third base per usual. Jack Sir hitting fourth. At first base, Carson Berg in right field. He will be hitting fifth. Giannis Katsogradakis is the designated hitter tonight. He's in the 6th spot. Jack Pelican in center field hitting 7th. Andrew Contreras in the 8th spot. He's in left field. And Adam Kunzvitsky returns to injury in the shortstop position here tonight for the champions. Now looking quickly through the batting order for Chicago Hope Academy, as looks like the managers for the 2 squads still talking things over near home plate. It'll be David Diaz hitting first. He will be playing in left field. Jamil Gregory at second base hitting second. Dom Bonilla at the catcher position. He's hitting third. Davion Villalobos in the hitting cleanup. He's also pitching here tonight, was the closer for last night's game against DePaul, and now he gets a starting gig here tonight. Jorge Matos will be playing in center field hitting 5th. Cam Centeno at shortstop hitting 6th. Matt Mendez at third base hitting 7th, and it will be AJ Lejeune and right field hitting 8th, and Roberto Ray in the 9 spot. He is playing at first base. And looks like we have just about a minute or 2 to go, and then we'll be ready to go for first pitch here from Kerry Wood Field. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. My name's Alex Burstein as we welcome you inside the broadcast booth here at Kerry Wood Field. This is one final tune-up game for the champions before city playoffs get started on Tuesday. And we don't have an official bracket yet, but throughout the broadcast we'll be talking through some scenarios. It's a very interesting road for the champions. They tied for first, however, we're hearing they lost a tiebreaker, so they're going to be in the 2 seed in the Jackie Robinson North, which means either the 3 seed or the 4 seed overall. And yesterday in the Jackie Robinson South, Kenwood beat Brooks in a winner takes all in the Jackie Robinson North Jack Robinson South Championship game. So because of that, Lane Tech most likely will have to face Kenwood, not Brooks, in the city's semifinals if Lane Tech gets there. That's a rematch from last year. So that will be very interesting for Lane Tech. Last year, Lane Tech beat Kenwood in the city semis, then beat Brooks in the city championship. However, Kenwood beat Lane Tech earlier this season 9-5 here at Kerrywood Field. So we'll see how everything changes up here this season. It's always fun with the playoffs. First round on Monday, second round on Tuesday, quarterfinals on Thursday, semifinals on Saturday, and then we wait a week plus until May 22nd, I believe, the Monday, where the city championship game is going to be held at the home of the White Sox Guaranteed Rate Field. As we'll take you back down to the field here, Lucino Sotelo takes the mound for the champions. As we mentioned, Shashua is catching for him tonight. And around the infield, it is Sir at first base, Cap at second base, Kunzvitsky making his return at shortstop, Darishin at third base, and in the outfield, it will be Carson Berg in right field, Jack Pelican in center field, and in left field, it will be Andrew Contreras. So that will be your starters here tonight for Lane Tech. This is the first time these 9 have played together at the same time this year, just because senior night, so all the seniors getting some playing time. But these guys are no strangers to varsity experience. They've all played a lot of games this year for the champions, just in different combinations. So we'll see how that goes here tonight. Lucino Sotelo looks to have a strong return to the mound, has had some struggle with control his last couple of appearances, and we will see what he can do here tonight. Did pitch a nice inning against Ogden International in Game 2 of that series on Thursday. That was his last appearance, so he earned himself the start here tonight, and we will see how the rest of the bullpen looks for Lane Tech. Usually in this game, they try to get all the seniors in, so that is something to note for tonight's contest. Lucino, a senior left-handed pitcher, and looks like there's going to be one final warm-up pitch, and then we'll be good to go here from Kerrywood Field for Chicago Hope Academy versus the Lane Tech champions here on a overcast Saturday afternoon, or Saturday morning actually, in Chicago. It'll be David Diaz, the left fielder, number 8, coming to the plate to lead us off here tonight. We mentioned Hope had a big win last night against the DePaul College Prep Rams. 4-0 was that one, so a shutout victory. I was talking with head coach Efraim Mendez of this Hope Academy team after that game last night, and he said games like those are really what this team looks for heading into the state playoffs, as first pitch from Sotelo is low for a ball, and we'll go to a 1-0 count. But as we were saying, this is a Hope Academy team that plays in, I believe, 1A. We'll check later. I believe 1A, not 2A. They're a top 2 seed in their sectional, as they already had the sectional seedings come out for the lower population schools. So they have a road to possibly being a sectional champion. As this one fouled back, we'll move to a 2-1 count here on Diaz, the first batter of the day for Hope Academy. A couple of late season Jackie Robinson North opponents for Hope, as this one popped towards the pitcher's mound. Sotelo rolls to his right and makes the grab for out number 1. So a P1 will be the first batter retired for Sotelo. A good start here, and now we'll see if he can keep it going against the 2-hitter here for the Eagles, number 3, Jamil Gregory. Gregory, a junior, hitting in this 2 spot, but although a couple of these guys are going to be upperclassmen, do not be fooled. This is still a very, very young Chicago Hope Academy team. As Sotelo faces a righty for the first time tonight. First pitch low and inside for a ball, 1-0 the count. Hope will also be facing off against Von Steuben in these last weeks of the regular season, as this one drilled towards third, fielded cleanly by Darishin across the diamond in time for a 5-3 putout. And with that, 2 up, 2 down here quickly for Hope in the top of the first inning, and we'll see if Lane Tech can have a 1-2-3 inning, something that they did not have once the entire game the last time they played here at Kerrywood Field. That was last Tuesday against Ogden International. They just had some long innings, and that came back to bite them, As first pitch, it's the outside part of the plate. 0-1 the count. We mentioned control has been a somewhat issue for Sotelo recently, but he's starting off strong here, throwing some strikes. That was actually his first pitch strike, as this one drilled into right field. Takes one hop past Cap there at second base, and with that 1-2 away for Hope, that was Dom Bonilla, the catcher, with the hit, and now Davian Villalobos will look to keep the inning alive. This is a very small Chicago Hope Academy roster. They have, on their scorecard, they have 13 players eligible, but when I was talking with their coach last night, they originally expected to have 9 players eligible for today's game because of some stuff with injuries and the JV team, as first pitch misses low here to Villalobos. But that just tells you how small of a school this Chicago Hope Academy is. Obviously, a 1A school means much smaller population than Lane Tech, as this one going to be popped up, but they've been able to hang with some much bigger schools this year. So that's definitely something interesting to look at. So we'll move to a 1-1 count here on the pitcher. Will be interesting to see what Villalobos can do on the mound. Just a sophomore. Hope had a really good season last year, as this one strike called. The throw down from Shashua a little high, and the late tag from Kunzvitsky is not there in time. Excuse me, from Cap there, who actually got it. But it will be a stolen bag here for Bonilla, who gets into second base score safely, and we have our first runner in scoring position tonight. The last pitch did go for a strike, so it's a 1-2 for Sotelo, down low, and just misses the strike zone. We'll even out the count at 2 apiece. Nice crowd on hand for tonight's game. Lots of Lane Tech senior parents and fans in the stands here at Kerrywood Field, as Sotelo looks back towards second, throws. This one drilled towards right field. Chasing after it is Berg. This is going to head foul. We'll see if he can make the catch, and he cannot. Looked like it landed in his glove. Ended up going about a foot too far to the right into that opponent's bullpen. So that will go for a strike. He was already at 2, though, so we'll keep it at a 2-2 count. And the pitcher will stay alive for at least one more batter. Pitch, this one once again towards right field. This time it will drop fair in front of Berg. They're going to send the runner. It's a great throw from Berg. The tag from Shashua, not in time. And an RBI single here from the pitcher, Davian Villalobos, and the Hope Academy strikes first here in the top of the first. That was a beautifully placed ball into right field. There's not much wind out here today. It was a good throw from Berg, a little far to the right, though. Shashua had to dive to try to tag Villalobos, and I think no contact may have been made, and that may have been the difference maker, as Jorge Matos Jr. will come to the plate. The center fielder tonight for Hope. First pitch, strike to the outside part of the plate. So leadoff lefty in Diaz, but since then it's been all righty batters for Hope. As a big swing to miss here, and we'll see if that can be an advantage for the lefty Sotelo. 1-0. Hope Academy leads here in the top of the first. Runner takes the lead at first base, the 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that will be a K to end the inning. But Hope strikes first on RBI single from Davian Villalobos to score his teammate Bonilla. It's Hope 1, Champion 0 as we head to the bottom of the first. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. We head to the bottom of the first here. Champions look to tie this one up after giving off a leadoff run to the Eagles in the top half of this first inning. It will be Zach Shoshua leading off, Jeffrey Kapp behind him, and Louis Derishin in the hole to get us going here in the bottom of the first inning here on Senior Night 2023. Thank you so much for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Kerrywood Field on this Saturday morning. Overcast skies in Chicago, but pretty nice temperature. I think we're getting up into the mid-60s for today's game as first pitch from Villalobos will hit the top right part of the zone for a ball, and we'll move to a 1-0 count. Saw one run given up off of 2 hits by the Eagles in the top half of this frame. So Lane obviously hoping they can get that run back quickly as a 2-0 to Shoshua misses outside. 3-0 the count. When talking about Villalobos yesterday with their head coach Mendez, he said the sophomore had a very strong freshman campaign with varsity, pitched very well last year, but this season has had some struggles, but he really likes pitching in these big games. And against such a big opponent like Lane Zach, he really wanted to have the ball, and they give it to him here as he moves a 3-0 count here quickly to a 3-2. And trying to get out of this one would be impressive for the righty as a 3-2 pitch. Check back, we'll do it again. Jeffrey Kapp, the second baseman, waits on deck here for the Champions. Mentioned an all-senior starting lineup here tonight for Lane Tech. As this one hit towards right center field, it is deep, but getting under it's the right fielder, Lejeune, and he will make the grab routinely for an out number 1. So an F9 gets us going here in the bottom of the first. We've seen pop-ups to start off both half innings so far. So we'll see if anyone here can break that pattern in the rest of the game as Jeffrey Kapp comes to the plate. He's worked himself into the starting lineup the last couple of games, and this will get past the shortstop Centennial into center field, and a single here for Jeffrey Kapp as the Champions have their first runner aboard here in the bottom of the first. He's had a couple of hits like that as of recent. He had a single up the middle on his third at-bat as Louis Derishin comes to the plate. Happy birthday as his walk-up song as Derishin celebrating his 18th birthday here today. Couple of birthdays this week. Josh Katz earlier on Monday, Louis Derishin here today. And we'll see if the birthday boy can get a knock here with 1 on and 1 away in the bottom of the first. First pitch misses for a ball. We've seen mixed control here early on out of Villalobos as curveball gets in there for a strike. That's the best pitch we've seen out of the righty here today. Over there at first base, Jeffrey Kapp with a nice lead. Haven't seen him much mobile on the base paths this season as back-to-back curveballs both find the strike zone. That's dangerous. The first one went to the outside of the plate. This one was much more inside. Derishin decided to take, and it ends up going for a strike. So it looks like kind of a wide strike zone here out of the umpire staff early on. As we'll go to the 1-2, misses outside, 2-2 the count. 1 away here in the bottom of the first. Tying run aboard for the Champions. Jack Sir, the cleanup hitter, waits on deck with Carson Berg in the hole for the Champions. Still the lead over there at first base by Kapp. They'll try a pickoff attempt, and very, very close there. And I can't tell, we might only have 1 umpire for this game. I do not see a second one in the field, so that's going to be a tough call for any home plate umpire to make. But Kapp will stay alive for at least another pickoff attempt as curveball almost hits Derishin there, and will move to a 3-2 count. So varying amounts of break here on the pitches from Villalobos. That's another pickoff attempt. This one not in time. Over there at first base, who almost made that impressive tag, is Ray there for the Eagles. as Cap takes another big lead over there at first, and we'll await the 3-2 to Darishin. This one past a shortstop to left field. At second base is Cap, and back-to-back singles here for the champions have moved us to 2 on with 1 away, and this is something that we have not seen a lot out of Lane Tech this year, and that's kind of a small ball approach. This has been a team that's really liked to swing for the fences and whatnot, but when you look at how this inning has progressed, you had the early flyout by Joshua, but that was just 2 hard-hit grounders to the outfield by Cap and Darishin for reaches, and that's a good sign as Lane Tech looks to work their way back into this one. Half swing flies foul for a strike, and we'll move quickly to an 0-1 count on Jack Sir. Senior in his second year on varsity, two-sport athlete, also on the Lane Tech varsity basketball team. He's been one of the first basemen this year for Lane, was also the starting first baseman all-conference last season. So we'll await the 0-1 to Sir. This one misses outside, and we'll go to a 1-1 count. It's Jeffrey Cap at second base, Louis Darishin at first. And waiting on deck will be Carson Berg, the right fielder tonight for Lane Tech. The big 1-1 pitch misses outside. See if this is going to get into the head or not of Villalobos, but after getting ahead in the count 1-2 to Darishin, he's now thrown 5 pitches, 4 of which have been balls. So struggled a little bit with control here this last batter and a half. As second baseman Gregory will check Cap at second base. The pitch fouled off to the left side again, and we'll move to a 2-2 count. Busy day for athletics here on the campus of Lane Tech over at Lane Stadium, the Chicago Public League Girls Track and Field City Championship. So obviously Lane Tech hoping they can take home some hardware over there. It's been a busy couple of days in Lane Tech athletics. We'll talk about that after the 2-2 pitch. This one called strike 3 on the bottom outside part of the plate. And our first backwards K of the day rings up Jack Sir. And we will see if Lane Tech strands a runner in scoring position like Hope Academy did, or if they can possibly tie this one up or take the lead here in the bottom of the first. Carson Berg's been one of the more consistent hitters this season for Lane Tech. His OPS has hovered around 500 the whole year. As first pitch, curveball works well again, and we'll go to an 0-1 count. Giannis Katsogradakis in the DH role stands on deck for the champions. So we await the 0-1 offering. Pitch fouled off to the right-hand side. So we've seen a lot of these pitches from to righty batters be fouled off to the right-hand side, by lefty batters be fouled off to the left-hand side. So we can tell that Villalobos is throwing a lot of these that Lane Tech are swinging at to the outside part of the plate. So it seems like that curveball has been fooling the champions well early on. Takes a look back at second base. The 0-2 slow windup. This one will take a couple bounces towards third. A tough play for Mendez, and they get him in time. A 5-3 putout ends the inning. The champions strand 2 will head to the top of the second. It's Lane Tech 0, Hope Academy 1. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. We head to the top of the second inning here, a 1-0 ball game with the Eagles on top of Lane Tech. Lane stranded 2 runners on the base paths to end the first inning. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them or not. Lucino Sotelo will stay on for a second inning on the mound. First pitch offered will be a short fly ball to right field. Berg dives at it and makes the grab. A web gem there by Carson Berg in right field. And first batter retired here in the top of the second. Looked like that one was going to drop right near the line, but Berg covered some really good distance out there in right field and makes the diving grab here to start off the second inning. That was Cam Centeno, who got retired. And now it'll be the 7-hitter Matt Mendez, who swings and misses at the first pitch from Sotelo. Saw 2 hits given up in the first inning. And back-to-back strikes here. The 0-2 pitch to Mendez. This one inside. Sotelo went inside on the second pitch, was able to find the strike zone. This one, though, moves a little too far inside, and we'll go to a 1-2 count here for the third baseman. Made the assist to end the first inning. We'll see if he can work something offensively here. This one up the middle, and he will. It'll drop right into center field. Cap tried for a Derek Jeter play over there at second base, but too little too late. And they runner aboard here. It's interesting. We've still yet to see a leadoff man reach in a half inning, but every single inning we've seen someone reach at least for one of these squads, and actually someone hit a single for one of these squads. Saw 2 singles in the top of the first, 2 singles in the bottom of the first, and now 1 already in the top of the second as curveball misses low. We'll move to a 1-0 count on AJ Lejeune. 1 on, 1 out, and I guess 1 up for Hope Academy. There's a little bit of contact made, but won't go fair, and we'll move to a 1-1 count. We saw 1 strikeout out of both of these pitchers in the first inning of action. See if that keeps on going here in the top of the second. The first pitch, runner takes towards second. Joshua has a good jump on it, but the throw is high over the head of Kunzvitsky. Will bounce all the way into center field. And a second stolen base here today. First throw was actually pretty close here for the champions, but this one just flies a little high over the head of Kunzvitsky there at shortstop. We mentioned back in this game after missing a couple to injury, and does not have the jump to make a play there. As strike called here, and we'll go to a 2-2 count on AJ Lejeune. A hit here very well could score a runner. We saw Bonilla score from second on a single in the top of the first. That's the lone run so far today, but instead it will be a second strikeout as fastball to the outside part of the plate. Swung on and missed for a strike 3, and now it'll be the 9-hitter Roberto Ray as Lane Tech looks to get out of this inning with no damage done. 1-0 Hope Academy leads, top of the second here at Kerrywood Field on this Saturday morning in Chicago. First pitch misses high and away here to Ray. Ray, just a sophomore, as 2 balls here thrown quickly to start off this at-bat. It's like a little bit of bullpen action already for the champions. Lane obviously balancing, trying to get as many seniors playing time here tonight as runner takes towards third, and Sotelo is not even going to throw. I think it would be a balk, but since he was already on his way to third, he'll take it cleanly, and just like that, runner 1 base away from scoring and making this a 2-0 lead with a 2-0 count on the 9-hitter Ray. This one swung on and missed, but as we were saying, Lane's balancing, trying to get as many players senior time, but also this is the last game before state seeding for the champions, so you really want to get a resume win here before coaches go to seed on Monday, As back-to-back swing and misses here from Ray, even out the count at 2-2. Lane, I was looking at this last night. I would project to be maybe in a 4 to 6 range in the regional, in the sectional, I should say, the Evanston 4A sectional, which if they're a top 4 seed, it means they're their highest seed in the regional. If they're a 5 or 6 seed, it means they'll be the higher seed in their initial matchup. That's actually up to the 8 seed. Lane was, I want to say, a 8 seed, possibly 9 last year. As this pitch called for a strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Backwards K ends the inning, and back-to-back strikeouts gets Lane Tech out of a run-around third situation. We'll head to the bottom of the second. It's the Eagles 1, the Champions nothing. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel.
Take it slow. Don't get distracted by that radio. I just rolled my eyes and I said, Daddy, I know I'm 15, I ain't green like some old 10-year-old. What when we get up to the 16, wild and free, cruising up and down Main in my F-150. Rolling down, bass too loud from this burner CD. I'll be right where I wanna be when I'm 16. 16. Now that I can drive, finally feel alive, but I got this curfew. Sneaking in late, smelling like my girlfriend's perfume. People talking about college and knowledge, and that's alright. But all I'm thinking about is an unsupervised Saturday night.
We head to the bottom of the second. Lane Tech looking to get some offense going for the first time here today. We saw them have a couple of straight good at-bats strung together in the bottom of the first. With back-to-back singles from Jeffrey Kapp and Louis Derishin, but those runners both got stranded on the base paths as Katsukadakis rips one down the first base line, but about a foot or two foul. And we'll move quickly to an 0-1 count here in the bottom of the second inning. It will be Katsukadakis leading off, Jack Pelican in the 2 spot, Andrew Contreras in the hole, and then Adam Kunzvitsky is the 4th batter due up here in the bottom of the first, and that rounds out all 9 hitters for the Champions here. As Katsukadakis readies for the 0-1 pitch. That took a while just to get the ball out of the right field foul territory, which shows you how hard it was hit. Villalobos entering his second inning of work, gave up no runs but 2 hits and 2 runners stranded on base in his first half inning of work. Love to be a little cleaner here with some less anxiety on the base paths in the second. This curveball misses outside. We almost saw Hope Academy jump out to a 2-0 lead in the last inning with in the top half of this inning, as they had a run around third base, but some timely strikeouts from Sotelo kept that from happening. And we'll move to a 2-2 count. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Lane Tech looking to win a 3rd straight game. We actually haven't been on the air since Tuesday. It's been kind of a while since a home game for the Champions. That was the 4-3 loss Lane Tech had to Ogden International. One of the tougher losses in recent conference history for the Champions. But the next day they did excellent against Highland Park. I'm trying to find the final score. I think it was 18-5 off the top of my head, but I'll confirm that in a second. As a swing and a miss here on the curveball gets Katsukadakis swinging for strike 3, and it will be 1 up, 1 down here to start off the bottom of the second as Jack Pelican comes to the plate for the Champions. Pelican, who was the starting center fielder to start off the year, has bounced between the starting and backup role in that position the rest of the season. Will come to the plate. We haven't seen him play in a couple of games. He might have had an at-bat or two. Oh, no, he actually was starting in center last game because Katz was pitching. So we saw Pelican play in the last game on Thursday, which going back to recapping the recent win, so it was 17-5 over Highland Park, and then in one of the better games played by Lane Tech over at Ozinga Field in Crestwood, Illinois, Lane Tech beat Ogden International 11-0 on Thursday, as this one poked towards second. Should be playable for Gregory, who gets it to first in time. And now two straight batters retired here to start off the bottom of the second. And Andrew Contreras will look to be the first Lane Tech batter to reach here in this inning. Contreras has been the kind of designated pinch runner this year for the Champions. He's run mostly for the catcher, Zach Shashua, whenever he gets on as a courtesy runner, as this one will take a weird bounce off the mound. Gregory will have a tough play, but he will still get it. So back-to-back 4-3 putouts ends this inning quickly. Champions go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. We'll head to the third. It's the Eagles 1, the Champions nothing. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel.
Said I was in my early 40s with a lot of life before me, and a moment came that stopped me on a dime. I spent most of the next days looking at the x-rays, talking about the options and talking about sweet time. I asked him when it sank in that this might really be the real end. How's it get you? When you get that kind of news, man, what'd you do? And he said, I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on the full-length range.
We head to the top of the third, 1-0 lead for Chicago Hope Academy here at Carey Wood Field. It'll be top of the order here for the Eagles as they got through their first 9 hitters in the first 2 innings of action, and that means David Diaz will lead us off here. First pitch curveball gets in there for a strike. Lucino Sotelo enters his 3rd inning of work here for the Champions. 1 earned run given up so far as a reaching curveball misses outside. 1-1 the count. Diaz, a senior, one of only 2 seniors on the roster for Hope Academy. We mentioned last year was very strong for this Hope team as this one takes a couple bounces. Jack Sir will beat Diaz to the bag and a ground out to first to start us off here in the third. Last year, it was a 23-7 year for Hope Academy. They won their conference, went 12-0 in conference play. Already 20 wins this season for the Eagles, so they'll look to beat that record as first pitch strike. Showing bunt there was Gregory, but he will pull away at the last second, and instead it will just go for a ball. So 1-0, the quick count here on the righty batter. And Sotelo goes to the outside plate again. He's had mixed success with those outside fastball and curveballs here today. As Gregory, the junior, awaits the 2-0. This one fouled back. First time up, we saw a grounder to third base. That was for the second out in the first. If we go back to that first inning, we saw the first 2 batters, Diaz and Gregory, retired. But after that, back-to-back singles ended up giving the Eagles an early lead as this one takes a couple bounces down the first base line, but will go for a strike. So a 2-0 count quickly moves to a 2-2 count here in the top of the third. The pitch misses outside, and we'll move to a full count here on Gregory, looking to reach for the first time here today. Don Bonilla waits on deck with Davian Villalobos, who has the lone RBI on the day in the hole, and a swing and a miss, strike 3 for Sotelo's 4th strikeout of the evening will bring up a second strike, apologies, of the morning, I should say. Relatively rare 10 a.m. first pitch here at Kerry Wood Field for Senior Day. Usually when it's 10 a.m. first pitches, we see a double header. However, there's a Lincoln Park game after this, as this one, a routine fly to center field. Pelican makes the grab, and 1-2-3 for the Eagles here in the top of the 3rd. We'll head to bottom of inning number 3. It's the Champions nothing, the Eagles 1. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. A couple of scoreless half innings here have been put in a row. We saw the leadoff run scored by the Eagles in the top of the 1st, but since then, no runs have been scored by either team, as Villalobos will stay in for a 3rd inning of work. First pitch to Kunvitsky is a bunt, but it will go high for a pitch. We mentioned Kunvitsky returning to the starting lineup here tonight as the shortstop and the 9-hitter for the Champions. Hadn't played in a couple of games, missed 2 against Highland Park and against Ogden International. But back to his usual position here on senior night as an 0-1 quick count quickly here, and he'll watch a curveball fall into the strike zone here as he falls behind quickly here, 0-2. Waiting on deck is the leadoff hitter, Zach Shashua. This one fouled back, and Kunzitsky will battle to stay alive. Last stats we have from Kunvitsky was back in that Hayden College prep game, game 2 a couple of weeks ago, as this one bounced to 3rd. Be a tough play, the throw across the diamond in time. Mendez excellent over there in the hot corner, and the 5-3 put out gets us going here in the top of the 3rd. So if you're hoping for a game with lots of offense, that's not exactly what you're going to get here tonight. A lot of good pitching, a lot of good defense is what we've seen out of these two squads, as Zach Shashua comes to the plate, the catcher. One of the team's leaders in fielding percentage. He's been excellent behind the mound, and at times he's been really good, excuse me, not behind the mound, behind home plate. And a couple of times this year he's been really good hitting as well. Has been a kind of streaky hitter this year, as the two-sport athlete gets ready for the 0-1 offering. He's also a co-MVP for the football team this season. Straight to the outside part of the plate, moves us quickly to an 0-2. That one was really, really reaching to the outside part of the plate, but the umpire says it's a strike, so we'll go 0-2 here now. Quickly in the bottom half of the 3rd. Pitch Smash down the right field line will go foul. A lot more strikes thrown these last couple of innings by Villalobos. Got Lane Tech to go 1-2-3 in the second. He's retired 5 straight Lane Tech batters, 6 straight, dating back to the first. And that will be broken up here as a single into left field gets past the shortstop Centennial. And Champions have a runner on for the first time since the first inning, and it will be 1 on, 1 away for the 2-hitter Jeffrey Kapp. And if you want 2 people to be up to plate right now, it's Jeffrey Kapp and Louis Derishin. They both had very strong singles in the first inning, as looks like we're going to see a courtesy runner, and going to check quickly to see who that is for the champion. Joshua usually does not run the base paths. And still trying to see who that is over at first. Looks like that's going to be number 27, Teo Greco. So I see our first non-senior make his debut in the field as pickoff to first gets away from the first baseman, Ray, and safely into second will be Greco. So the gamble to put a pinch runner in pays off for the Champions, and they have a runner in scoring position now with just 1 away here in the bottom of the third. Lane Tech hoping to tie this one up or possibly take the lead in the third inning. Kapp still awaits his first pitch offering. Louis Derishin waits on deck. A big lead over there at second by Greco. He's dancing around the shortstop Centennial, but Villalobos will just throw this one hammered towards right field, foul. 0-1 the quick count on Kapp. Kapp was in this second base role as well on Thursday against Ogden International. Went 0 for 1, but did draw a pair of walks and was able to get a pair of runs off of those walks. So he's found ways to be productive these last couple of weeks in this infield role for the Champions. As pickoff attempt over to second is another close call there. This time it was the shortstop Centennial, and once again, just it's very hard for the umpire at home plate to be the one making those calls at second base. And as a result, safely there is Greco, as we ready for the offering to Kapp, who's trying to make it 2 for 2 on the day. Pitch is high for a ball. The Hope Academy fans to our right thought they had a big strike number 2 there on a high curveball, but instead we'll even out the count at 1 apiece. Pitch at 1 misses outside as well. Good eye from Kapp. He's been very patient at the plate these last couple of games, drawing some walks and patient hits like we saw. He had a single up the middle his last time up. Beautifully hit ball. And it's been good to see out of the senior, making the most out of these at-bats. We're ready for the 2-1 to Kapp. Greco with a big lead over there at second base. They won't throw, and that one swung on and missed for a strike 2. Awkward swing there for Kapp. Looked like he thought it was going to be a big swing, then kind of held back at the end, and as a result, had a shorter bat than he would have liked. So we'll even out the count at 2 apiece. Louis Derishin still waiting on deck for the Champions. As the pitch from Kapp misses outside, and we'll go to a 3-2 count. In between these half innings, we saw something I don't think I've ever seen in a high school game. Instead of having a backup catcher or a player catch for the pitcher in between innings when the catcher was getting ready, it was one of the coaches on this Hope Academy squad. Don't see that often. As Kapp will foul this off to the right-hand side to stay alive at the 3-2 count. Only 13 players rostered for today's game, as we mentioned, for the Eagles. So they're making do with what they have against this much larger Lane Tech squad, who throughout the season has had about 27 players, I believe, dressed. As Villalobos is going to ask for a new ball. He's sporting a pretty cool color. It's like a teal green glove out there on the pitcher's mound. So we'll await a second 3-2 pitch to Darishin over here at home plate. And Villalobos calls for the catcher, Bonilla, to have a quick word with him. So we'll have a quick break in the action. They'll run a ball to the home plate umpire. And just a quick mound meeting there between the catcher and the pitcher. These 3-2 counts that keep on having foul balls are just nightmares for pitchers because it really runs their pitch count up. See how long the righty can stay in this game. No runs given up and a couple of quick innings means he definitely has at least a couple more in him. As now Cap is going to call time. We've seen about probably 90 seconds go by without a single pitch being thrown here. So we await a second 3-2 offering to Cap. And now we'll finally see Villalobos set for the pitch. The 3-2, Greco stays and we'll do it again. So Cap just battling here at home plate. So 1 for 3, I believe, in his last 2 games. Had a nice hit against Ogden in game 1 of that series. So we mentioned hitless in game 2. But already rung up a single in the first inning. As they'll try to pick off at second base Greco, but no one was there for the pickoff attempt. So Villalobos decides to hang on to the ball. Lane Tech looking for win number 18 on the season to get 10 games above 500 as a curveball misses inside and all the battling pays off as Jeffrey Cap earns a walk here in the bottom of the third. There's going to be a mound visit from the manager, Efren Mendez, and the entire infield and the catcher. So they're bringing everyone out to have a quick word with Villalobos before the third baseman, Louis Darishin, comes to the plate. It'll be the courtesy runner, Teo Greco at second base, Jeffrey Cap at first. Cap's now 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. He's putting together a nice senior day performance. As Louis Darishin comes up to bat, 2 on, 1 away off of a leadoff ground out by Kunzvitsky, but the champions have strung out back-to-back reaches, and we'll see if Darishin can move to 2 and 2 on the day, 2 for 2, I should say, and possibly tie this game up with 1 swing of the bat. He's had some big hits this year, some home runs. He had 1 over the fence here at Kerrywood Field, which is very hard to do, and he'll watch a ball go by on the first pitch here from Villalobos. Saw Darishin miss a couple of games, returned in the last one against Ogden International. Game 2 of that series, went 0 for 3, but did have a walk and a run. Got his first hit in his return off of a single. As pickoff attempt down to the second baseman Gregory, not there in time. They've really wanted to get Greco off the base pass, but have had no luck doing so yet. The only reason Greco's at second base is because a wild pickoff attempt throw to first allowed him to advance to second. As Darishin readies for the 1-0 count, the Lane Tech dugout getting loud here in the bottom of the third. The pitch swung on and missed for a strike 1. Darishin's single in the first inning was the last hit Lane Tech had until Joshua singled in his at-bat this inning. Lane went in a little bit of a bat drought there. They had 6 straight batters retired, but the offense coming alive a little bit here in the third. As inside the bat fouls this one off, 1-2 now the count on Darishin. 1 away, bottom of inning number 3. Chicago Hope Academy looking to make it 2 wins in a row here at Kerrywood Field. A lead 1-0 over Lane Tech off of a run in the first inning. The 1-2. Misses high and away. Good eye there from Darishan, and will even out the count. A lot of these at-bats have been reaching high into the 2-2s, the 3-2s, really making Villalobos battle for every single at-bats. Darishan hitting .405 on the year, leading the team currently. This one will take a couple bounces foul, and we'll keep it at a 2-2 count. The team leader in batting average, hits, and slugging, and also doubles. He's third in RBIs. Last year was an all-conference player, had 48 RBIs last season. Don't think he's going to reach that number this year, but still a pretty good offensive year for Darishan, and looking to add to his statistics here. 2-2. Fouled off again. So we saw Cap do the battling at 3-2, and now it's and then eventually drawing a walk. Now it's Darishan doing the battling at the 2-2. Runners will take their leads at both first and second base. It's Cap over there at first base, Teo Greco at second. We've seen no movement from either of the runners. Good leads, but no movement. As the 2-2 misses high, and once again, Hope Academy in danger of, after being ahead in a count, to quickly moving to a walk or a hit. But Villalobos can change that with a strike here. 3-2 for the second straight batter. Looks back towards second base to pitch. Hit high towards right field. Drifting back is Lejeune. Now he comes in a couple of steps. He will make the grab. Tagging up from second is going to be Teo Greco, safely into third. And Champions will have runners on the corners with 2 away. And an interesting situation here for the Champions in the bottom of the third. The Jack Sir, the lefty, coming to the plate. Good job by Greco there. He just took off from the bag as soon as that ball was caught and was able to reach third with a couple seconds to spare. And now we'll see if the lefty Jack Sir can drive in some runs. It will be interesting to see with a lefty at the plate if Lane Tech risks moving another guy to scoring position, maybe trying to send Cap to second base. They're checking in pretty tightly there with Ray at first. First pitch is hit towards second, and off the glove of the second baseman, Gregory. Run will score, and we're tied up here in the bottom of the third. The pinch runner, Teo Greco, comes in to score for the Champions, and it's a 1-all ball game here in the bottom of the third. And the inning's not quite done for the Champions yet. That probably will go off of an error on the second baseman, Gregory. It was pretty routine. Took a weird bounce off his glove. And we'll now see Carson Berg come into the plate. 2 on, a 1-run ball game. Excuse me, a 1-1 ball game now here in the bottom of the third as Berg takes first pitch. Wide for a ball. It's Sir at first base, Cap at second. Ironic that the first run that comes across the plate for the Champions scored by a non-senior here on Senior Day, but was off the hit of a senior, and also the runner was representing a hit by a senior as well, courtesy runner Greco for Shashua. As Sir gets the RBI here. 1-1 the count on Berg. Grounded out to to third his first time up. This time it's a lofting fly ball to the right fielder, Lejeune. He's been busy out there, but will make this one on the run for an F9. But the Champions score for the first time here today. An RBI single by Jack Sir puts Teo Greco across the plate, and we're all tied up at 1 heading to the fourth. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel.
Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out when I walk in the spot. This is what I see. Everybody stops and is staring at me. I got passion in my pants and I ain't afraid to show it, show it, show it, show it. I'm sexy and I know it. I'm sexy and I know it. Yeah, when I'm at the mall, security just can't lock the mall. And when I'm at the beach, I'm in the speedo trying to tan my cheeks. This is how I roll. Come on, lady, it's time to go. We head to the mall, baby, don't be nervous. No shoes, no shirt, and I still get service. Watch. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out when I walk in the spot. This is what I see.
We have our first call to the pen here as we head to the top of the fourth. Zachary Sharp will take the mound for the champions here in the top of inning number 4. Lucino Sotelo goes 3 innings, 3 hits given up. 1 run comes across the plate, but no walks and 4 strikeouts. Overall, a pretty good day for Sotelo. And now we'll see what Sharp can do on the mound in his first appearance in just over a week. We last saw him play against Whitney Young in Game 2 a week ago from this past Friday. As first pitch called for a strike here to the 4-hitter, Davion Villalobos. Has been solid on the mound here so far for the Eagles. Top of inning number 4 here at Kerrywood Field, a 1-1 ball game between the champions and Chicago Hope Academy. Villalobos had an RBI single his first time up to bat as he takes a big cut here at a curveball from Sharp. Sharp on the year, a couple of appearances here in the varsity games. Battled back from some injury over the offseason, but he's sporting a 1.17 ERA this year. So very solid stuff out of Sharp. He goes to the 2-2 count. Mentioned that last appearance coming against Whitney Young in Game 2 of that series. Had 2 innings pitched, and it was a perfect 2 innings. No runners in reach, had 1 strikeout, 6 batters faced, all 6 of them retired. So he was good in that game, and we'll see if he can do something similar here, as it will be a 3-2 count. Fouled away from Villalobos. We'll do it again. So it looks like the long at-bats continuing here for into the top of the 4th. We saw some really long at-bats in the bottom of the 3rd for the Lane Tech offense, and that stayed the same for the Chicago Hope Academy offense here in the top of the 4th, as this one straight into the glove of Kunzvitsky, and a line drive to the shortstop will get us going here in the 4th inning. We've seen less balls hit towards short than usual here tonight, but Kunzvitsky read that one perfectly and was able to get it to go for a out. The second game here tonight is actually quite an interesting one. It's supposed to be at 12:30. Might start a little late. Showing bunt, it will go for a ball here to Jorge Matos Jr. One of the coaches on this team is Jorge Matos. We did not ask, but pretty sure a relation between the two. There's a couple of family connections on this team. We also have the brothers, Dominic Bonilla, who we've seen playing, a sophomore, and Zeke Bonilla, a senior. We haven't seen Zeke play here today, but both of them on the roster for this squad, as a called strike to the bottom outside part of the plate. And Sharp moves ahead in the count 1-2 here on Matos, who struck out his first time up. Seen him playing in center field here tonight. Can also pitch a little bit, listed as an outfielder and a pitcher. Plays with the Cubs RBI 16U team. very, very speedy on the base pass. So it gets dangerous when he's able to get the ball in play, but that won't happen this time. A strikeout here by Sharpen, 2 up, 2 down in the top of the 4th. That will be the situation for Cameron Centennial, the 6-hitter for this Eagles squad, lined out to right field his first time up. He led off the 2nd inning, hasn't hit since. This time it will take a couple hops towards Kunzvitsky, and a 6-3 putout will close out a 1-2-3 inning defensively for the champions. After giving up that first run, the last 3 innings, we've seen a single and 9 batters retired. So Lane Tech's defense has been doing great. We'll see if the offense can keep that going in the bottom of the 4th. Don't go anywhere. It's a 1-1 ball game. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Giannis Katsogradakis will lead us off here in the bottom of the 4th. Champions playing with a tie game, not a deficit for the first time here today. 1-1 the score, and we'll see if they can take the lead as the lefty Katsogradakis heads to the plate for the champions here in the bottom of the 4th. We started talking about the next game. I don't think we mentioned the teams. It'll be Lincoln Park taking on Jones. As first pitch foul back. As I mentioned, we're still awaiting the bracket, but definitely a good chance that we see Jones and Lane Tech play in the city playoffs. Obviously, 2 years ago, Jones eliminated Lane Tech in the quarterfinals of the Public League playoffs, a year that Lane Tech had a really good chance to go all the way. As Katsogradakis will swing on the pitch, 0-2 the count. So that should be a good one if you want to come down to Kerrywood Field, a 12:30 first pitch. I'm not sure why that game is being played here. It's a Jones home game being played at Kerrywood Field. Don't think I've heard that before. As the 0-2 misses outside to the University of Chicago football commit, Katsogradakis. He's a 2+ sport athlete. I've heard he's been doing some lacrosse too this spring. So he's been doing lacrosse, baseball, and obviously his best sport, football. As the 1-2 offering misses low, and we'll go to a 2-2 count. Struck out his first time up to bat. We should mention Villalobos is still in the game, a 4th inning of work, so hope is not going to go to the bullpen as soon as we saw the champions do. As curveball misses outside, and a 2-2 count now on Katsogradakis. Lane's fallen behind in some counts, but they've done a good job battling back. That's how they got that first run last inning. As apologies, that was actually the 3-2 and an 0-2 count followed by 4 straight balls. And for the first time today, we have a leadoff man reach. So this is the 8th half inning. The first 7 of them, the first guy faced got out. And now here in the bottom of the 4th, it's 1 on with no outs for the champions, and we'll see if they can do something with it. Katsogradakis was actually used as a pinch runner, as bunt laid down here by Pelican will go foul. In the game against Ogden on Thursday, came around and scored a run. So He has some usefulness there on the base paths. They won't put a runner in for him as the first baseman waits at first base. Pelican falls behind 0-1 in the count. Lane Tech and Hope Academy all knotted up at 1 apiece here. Pelican lays down a beautiful bunt, but it just goes foul. If that had ran for a second or two more along the line, Pelican probably would have been safe at first and would have advanced Katsogradakis. And we'll see how the strategy changes now with 2 strikes. We have not seen Lane much or at all bunt with 2 strikes this year, but with no outs, we'll see if they get a little riskier with it. Andrew Contreras waits on deck and Adam Kunzvitsky in the hole. However, I see Josh Katz with a bat, so there's a chance we see him come into the game as this one bounces in front of Bonilla behind home plate. Struggles today. This is something you never hear out of a pitcher, but I think we've seen the least consistency when there's been 2 strikes in the count for Villalobos. As the 1-2 misses outside, and now if we go back to the last at-bat with 2 strikes in a count, this has now been 6 straight balls thrown by the sophomore right-handed pitcher. As Katsogradakis with a decent lead over at first, swing and a miss here for a strike 3 from Pelican, and now it'll be 1 on with 1 away for Andrew Contreras. Had a quiet day out in left field. We'll see if he can get something going offensively here in the 4th for the champions. Lane hoping to not strand a runner. We've stranded 4 here today, 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. Halfway through tonight's contest. As first pitch to Contreras, in there for a strike. We mentioned it's been a good couple of days for Lane Tech Athletics, especially yesterday. Lane won the boys tennis city title and in dominating fashion. If you go to the Public League Twitter account, you can see the score, but they had like 10 or 15 more points than anyone else. As safely into second on the stolen bag is Katsogradakis. So Lane officially has their first city title of the season, and then of the spring season. Obviously, they'll be hoping to add a couple more. And then girls softball, who we've talked about a couple times on the broadcast this year, but they've just been so impressive this season. They've yet to lose a game in the state of Illinois, 3 losses, all of which have come on a spring break trip, so they're perfect in Illinois. And how about the senior Kaylee Hancock? She threw a perfect game in the city semifinals last night to advance Lane Tech to the city championship game. Perfect game in the semis, pretty impressive, as a 1-2 count now on Contreras. And see if Lane Tech softball can bring home a city title against the Taft Eagles on Monday, a team Lane already beat earlier this season. Lane Tech baseball's city run will start next week as a called strike 3 on the bottom outside part of the plate. And the lefty Contreras is retired with a backwards K. Back-to-back strikeouts here from Villalobos after we saw a walk from Giannis Katsogradakis. And looks like they're not going to put Katz into the game right now. Instead, it's going to be Kunzvitsky who heads to the box. Trying to reach for the first time here today. Grounded out to third in his first at-bat. That was the last inning in the third. As a slow-to-break curveball to inside moves us to a 1-0 count. Kunvitsky's been one of the top fielders this season for the champions. Has been very solid at that shortstop position. And we'll see if he can get some offense going here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 away, pick off to second, not in time. That was Gregory, who's wearing some hot pink shoes and hot pink arm sleeves as well. Very recognizable over there at second base. But he cannot apply the tag, and we'll go to we'll keep it at a 1-0, on Kunzvitsky. Waiting on deck is Shashua. This one fouled back. He has his catcher's gear on just in case this does not go how Lane Zach wants it to. And he has to go and catch right after this. Lane Zach stayed at number 1 in the Mike Clark Preps City Lights poll this week. Von Steuben behind them in the 2 spot, Kenwood in the 3 spot. So we'll see if the champions can hold on from start of the season to finish of the season there in the public league rankings. They were the preseason number 1, and they've been number 1 in every subsequent rankings. Champions are a team to watch in the statewide rankings put on by Prep Baseball Reports, likely to stay there unless they have a couple of big wins. They started the season number 19 as the 1-2 misses high on a fastball. But since then, they've been just hovering outside the top 25 the rest of the year. 2-2 the count. Shashua on deck. Katsogradakis over there at second base, and Adam Kunzvitsky at the plate. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Kerrywood Field. 11:18 local time here in Chicago, Illinois. As check swing gets away from the shortstop O'Neill, the throw to third, not in time. And a 3-2 count now on Kunzvitsky, and a runner on third base, the go-ahead run for the champions here. And we'll see if Lane Zach has something cooking here in the 4th. So one was a stolen base, one was advancing on a wild pitch, but either way, a walk has been turned into a runner on third base. As we'll move now to a full count, I believe, on Kunzvitsky, 2 away, and a very big pitch here incoming for both of these squads. Lane Tech looking to take the lead for the first time today. And Hope Academy hoping this stays a 1-1 game. Kunzvitsky hits it towards Centennial. The routine play to first, scooping it. Oh, they called him the umpire originally called him out, and originally called him safe and then changed it to out. So it'll be a 6-3 put out to end the inning. The champions strand the go-ahead run at third base. We'll head to the 5th, all tied up here, 1-1 at Kerrywood Field. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel.
Of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember, and I did not know how pain. When I believed in forever, everything will stay the same. Now my heart feels like December, when somebody said our name. Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know you're never there. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Everything will be alright, only a person say. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember, when I never felt so long. And I felt all the hatred, used to come for a star.
Both teams go scoreless in the 4th, and we stay at a 1-1 ball game, heading to inning number 5 here at Kerrywood Field. And just looking at the stats from the scorecard, the first inning for Hope Academy, they scored 1 run, had 2 hits. The next 3 innings, they have scored no runs, and they've had 1 hit. So they had more hits in the first inning than they had from the 2nd to the 4th combined. And we'll see if Lane Tech's defense can keep doing its job here in the top of the 5th. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Matt Mendez, AJ Lejeune, and Robert Ray as first pitch. curve misses outside. We'll go to a 1-0 count. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Kerrywood Field. A low-scoring, high-defense game here on Senior Day for the champions. We haven't seen a lot of these games out of Chicago Hope Academy. Their wins have been, for the most part, pretty dominant. Their losses even have usually been teams have scored a lot against them. So they've not been in a lot of these super highly competitive games. As we'll move to a 1-2 count here on Mendez. 1 for 1 with a single in the second. Came around the third, but was stranded. And this time it'll be a strikeout. Zach Sharp dealing on the mound right now. 4 up, 4 down, 2 batters struck out. And if you go back to that Whitney Young game, he has now retired 10 straight batters. The righty showing some great stuff here in the home stretch of the season. So yeah, if you go to their recent games, their one conference loss was like this, a 2-1 loss to Holy Trinity. As this pitch goes for a strike to the 8-hitter, A.J. Lejeune. But a 10-run loss to Hersey, a 20-run win over Northtown, 6-run win over Ida Crown. It's been pretty dominating high-score games for the Eagles this year. Lane Tech, meanwhile, they've played in their fair share of those games, but they've also been in some close games. So you could almost say the champions better prepared for a game like this. As the 0-2 offering to Mendez, fastball high and inside for a ball. And we'll go to a 1-2 count. Excuse me, to Lejeune. We'll go to a 1-2 count. June, just a sophomore, plays his travel with elite baseball training. And this one's going to be skied towards shallow left field. Kunvitsky gets it for a pop-up. And we have now seen, dating back to the second, 10 straight batters retired for the champions defense. Hoping they can get anything going offensively here as we move to the 9-hitter. First pitch swung on and missed by Roberto Ray Jr. Sophomore struck out looking his first time. Lanes put together at least 1 strikeout every single inning. Saw 2 out of Sotelo in the second. So 6 strikeouts altogether by the Lane Tech pitching staff, just 3 hits given up. Lane Tech also has just 3 hits, as well as 1 reach on an error. As we'll go to a 1-2, excuse me, a 2-2 after curveball misses. On deck, it's top of the lineup, David Diaz. It's 0 for 2 on the day, but that won't matter as a curveball swung on, strike 3. Zach Sharp is dealing 6 up, 6 down in his 2 innings of relief, and it's still a tie ball game as we head to the bottom of inning number 5. It's the champions 1, the Eagles 1. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. top of the lineup here for the champions as we head to inning, the bottom of inning number 5. We've seen the Zach Joshua. He had a hit in the third. It was courtesy ran for him. That's the only run of the game for the champions. So we'll see if he can spark something again here in the 5th. Damian Villalobos will stay in for a 5th inning of work. He's actually not wearing his usual jersey number. He's usually number 34. Split that in half. He's wearing number 17 for tonight's contest. Hoping there. Silver hats and pants with navy blue uniforms and silver numbers. Lane Tech in their all white home uniforms for tonight's contest. Lane just has a couple more home regular season games this year. As looks like we may have a positional change here. Let's see. Don't have a number 14 on our roster, but looks like a couple of changes here. So into left field, looks like Gregory goes to left field here. Diaz was there. Or no, he was in center field. Either way, we'll try to straighten that out. But a couple of changes here defensively for the Eagles in the bottom of the 5th as first pitch called for a ball here. Interesting there. Gregory had the air in that last inning, and as a result, he gets moved all the way to left field. As back-to-back balls thrown here to Joshua to start us off in inning number 5. A little bit of bullpen work there. Can't tell if it's an official pitcher throwing or not. As another ball thrown here and a 3-0 count on Joshua. Jeffrey Kapp waits on deck. Louis Darishin in the hole. And that will be a 4-ball walk to get us going here. The control is definitely slowed down a little bit for Villalobos these last couple of innings, as we're going to see a pinch runner again in the form of Teo Greco, who officially is the only player to score a run here today. Joshua is now 1 for 2 with a single and a walk, so good day for the senior catcher. And Jeffrey Kapp coming to the plate. He's also had a good day. 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. But problem is he's not been able to get past second base as curveball gets there for a strike. And we'll go to a 1-0 count. Trying to consult the other roster quickly here to see who they move to shortstop. Looks like that's going to be Eric Delgado. So the shortstop is changed as this one off the glove of Villalobos. It'll be a tough play, and Kapp beats it out. No throw from Delgado, the freshman. And an error once again leads to a reach for the champions. So Greco now at second base, Kapp at first. And I think this might be the first time today we've seen 2 runners on with no outs for either team. And we'll see if Lane Tech can use that to their advantage as they look to break this one open in the bottom of the 5th. Champions have yet to have a lead here today. As first pitch called strike here. Go to 0-1 count on Darishin. Darishin 1 for 2, a single and a fly out in the first, fly out in the third. But that fly out actually ended up being very helpful for the champions. It was with Greco on second base, and he ended up tagging up and scoring just a couple, I think the very next batter. So it's very important hit there for Darishin. As this one ripped down the third base line, will go foul and will go to a 1-2 count. The team's batting average leader trying to add a second hit to his total here today. It looks like the only positional change may have been Diaz coming out of the game and them moving Gregory to left field. So David Diaz may be done for the day. See if that stays or not as Darishin awaits the 1-2 pitch. 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 5th. Swing and a miss for a strike 3. His first strikeout of the day. They threw down the second base, almost got Greco there at second. A risky play there. You don't see that a lot after a strikeout. But well communicated there from the Eagles, but just a second too late as Jack Sir comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 away. Lane hoping they don't spoil another good chance. They've stranded 5 runners on the base paths here today, 2 apiece in the first and third. As runners take their leads at first and second. First pitch in here for a strike to Sir. 0 for 1 on the day, struck out in the first. Did reach off of an error by the second baseman Gregory in the third. So apologies, it wasn't last inning, it was 2 innings ago we saw the error by Gregory, but now he gets moved to left field as pickoff attempt to second, not in time. We've seen 5 or 6 pickoff attempts to try to get Greco on the base paths here today when he's been the courtesy runner. And fairly so. He does represent the only Lane Tech run here today. He also represents the go-ahead run here in the 5th. As Sure down the first base line past a diving Ray. He's going to turn first. This one all the way to the right foul pole. 1 run's going to come in to score. They're going to send Cap as well. The play at the plate, not in time. And a double here by Jack Sir has the Champions up 3-1. Talk about a clutch hit from the senior lefty. And as Carson Berg comes to the plate, this is a whole new ball game. We'll see if that's the day, and looks like it is going to be called to the pen here for the Eagles in the bottom of the 5th. And we'll try to catch quickly who that is. Oh, looks like that's going to be, okay, so A.J. Lejeune, who was playing in right field, left the game in this last inning to go to the bullpen. So there's also been a change, in right field. So there's also been a change in the right fielder. We'll try to see who that is quickly here. Or no, this is number 8. My apologies, folks. So this is going to be David Diaz, who came from left field. So Diaz moves from left field to the bench, and then now is going to be pitching here. Also coming into the game, looks like is going to be number 0, Esteban, who we do not have on our roster. Oh, no, it's going to be number 0, Esteban Rodriguez. So Diaz now does leave the game, and coming to pitch is going to be David Diaz here in the bottom of the 5th. Apologies, folks. Here we got one roster from Max Preps and a kind of different one from the team right before the game, so we're just trying to balance all those. It will be David Diaz taking the mound here, wearing the number 8 jersey for the Champions here. Excuse me, for the Eagles here in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Jack Sir at second base after that 2 RBI double. And I forgot, but he actually had the RBI that scored Greco in the 3rd. So Greco now has 2 runs off of Joshua hits. Cap has 1 run, and Jack Sir now has 3 RBIs on this senior night. Very impressive day out of the senior. And now we'll see if they can keep it going with a pitching change here in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Carson Berg coming to the plate. Still just 1 away off of that strikeout from Darashin, but with runner in scoring position, Lane Tech would love to make this even bigger lead. Senior Diaz is ready to throw his first pitch of the game here today. A lefty. And Sir with the lead at second. First pitch inside for a ball. We'll move to a 1-0 count. We mentioned it was a shutout performance last night against DePaul College Prep, so Hope Academy struggling a little more defensively here tonight. As curveball misses inside, we'll move to a 1-1. 3-1 lead for the champions. Heading to the fifth, and Lane Tech will now just need 6 outs defensively to try to close out this game. As Berg, a soft roller towards third. Mendez fields it cleanly. The throw to first is in time, but that does advance Sure to third base. And one bag away from Lane Tech, opening up a 3-run lead now. We'll see if that changes or not. Giannis Katsogradakis coming to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day. A strikeout, then walked his last time up. Stole second base and then advanced to third on a wild pitch. So it's been a decent day, and I think we may have seen every single Lane Tech. Oh no, we still have 3. So the 7, 8, and 9 hitters still have to reach, but 6 of the 9 seniors who we saw start in the batting order today have reached, which is always good to see on senior day. As an arching curveball gets in there for a strike. 0-1 the count here early on to Katsogradakis. I mentioned this first time up, will be playing football at the University of Chicago next year. This one almost hits him. First lefty that we've seen faced for the senior. And this one will go to the outside part of the plate for a strike. Excuse me, for a ball. This one misses outside, and looks like we may have also had a pitching change, a positional change over at third base. So with Diaz on the mound, they also moved the pitcher Linares over to third. So it's going to be Linares, not Mendez, over there at third base for the rest of the game. So we'll await the 2-1 to Katsogradakis. That one misses high, and apologies, that was a 3-1. Diaz working quickly here on the mound, and Katsogradakis is aboard with a walk for the second time today. He's 0 for 1 now with 2 walks. I'd love to add a run to that total, as we're going to see a batting change here in the form of Lane Tech's number 7, Jacob Mesa. We see that right? Yes, so Lane Tech pitcher Jacob Mesa is going to be pitching here, going to be hitting here in the bottom of the fifth for, I believe, the first time this year, as first pitch called for a strike. I thought I was going crazy there because we have not seen any 7s at the plate this year, but it will be Mesa pinch hitting for Pelican, who has been playing in center field. And Mesa bounces this towards third. Villalobos gets it across the diamond in time, but the champions do what they need to do. A 2 RBI double from Jack Sir scores Greco and Cap, and it's a 3-1 ball game as we head to the 6th. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel.
You know what I'm taking pride in cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and a radio. Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know, sweet tea, pecan pie, homemade wine, where the peaches roll. And my house is not much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in southern ground, and a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried. And cold beer on a Friday night.
We head to the top of the sixth here at Cary Wood Field. A 3-1 lead for the champions as Diaz pops first pitch up towards third base. Darishan gets it and just takes one pitch to retire the leadoff man here for the Eagles in the top half of the sixth. They're now down to 5 outs to try to get the tying 2 runs here, at Cary Wood Field. Lane Tech with some insurance there off of a 2 RBI double from Jack Zur in the bottom half of the fifth as Jameel Gregory Jr. will come to the plate, the second baseman who moved to left field in the last half inning. We did see the manager, Mendez, talking with the umpire, so I think we may see a batting change. Haven't seen any yet, and it looks like it may be with the next batter. It's supposed to be Bonilla, but it looks like that may be Villalobos. We'll see in a second as the 1-1 gets the strike zone for a strike here to Gregory, who's 0 for 2 on the day with a ground out and a strikeout. Zach Sharp in for a third inning of work. He's perfect through 2. This one bounced towards third. Darishan plays it, but that will go foul either way. So we'll go to a 1-2. Hope doing some crazy things with their lineups here. Apologies, folks. We've been trying to keep up with all these changes, but we mentioned only 13 players, so they have to move players around like puzzle pieces. And we've been trying to roll with those. But we do know it's 1 out with Gregory at the plate. No longer, though, after a strikeout. That is strikeout number 4 on the night from Sharp in 8 batters faced. And the day just keeps on going very well for the champions. 3 hits given up, 2 of those in the first inning, and they have not allowed a hit since the second batter in inning number 2. And for some context, it's inning number 6 now. As first pitch hits the outside part of the plate. Looks like at the plate, no, they are going to keep Bonilla in as the 3-hitter as he takes the 0-1 low for a ball. Will move to a 1-1 count. So the batting order staying the same for the moment here for the Eagles. 2 away here in the 6th. They trail by 2. The champions look to win a 3rd straight. Mentioned they'll return to play on Tuesday against an opponent TBD. Probably will be a winner of a play-in game. I believe all the Jack Robinson North and South Conference games have been finalized, so I think we should get a bracket either today or early tomorrow as this one popped up towards center field. Pelican rolls to his left and makes the routine grab. 1-2-3 for a 4th straight inning for the champions. They head to the bottom of the 6th looking for some last-minute insurance. It's the champions 3, the Eagles 1 as we head to the bottom of inning number 6. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. We head to the bottom of the sixth, champions with a 3-1 lead over Chicago Hope Academy. Thanks for joining us. Alex Burstein on the call here from Cary Wood Field here on Senior Day 2023. As Mark Seward, the lefty pitcher, is going to be our leadoff batter as the champions look to get as many players at bats as possible here on Senior Day. First pitch is a strike to the outside part of the plate. Will go to an 0-1 count. Seward, a lefty, was a starter at the start of last season. Has been more of a bullpen guy off and on this 2023 campaign. A two-sport athlete. Is also the starting quarterback for the Lane Tech football team. As check swing, he went for it. The throw to first will be in time to Caesar over there, who moved to first base. So one away quickly here in the bottom of inning number 6. 11:49 local time here in Chicago, Illinois for Josh Katz, who's coming to the plate. And Lane Tech doing a pretty good job of getting every single senior into the game. I think right now we're only missing 1 or 2. As Katz will pinch hit for Kunzvitsky. First pitch curveball in there for a strike. Katz pitched a 71-pitch game on Thursday against Ogden International, so they've been giving the senior rest for most of today, but he does get at least 1 at-bat in here, and he'll sky this towards center field, where Matas gets under it and will make the grab. So 2 batters quickly retired here in the bottom of the 6th. And we will see if Zach Joshua can keep the inning going. He's had a really good day so far. Flew out in the first inning, but since then a single in the 3rd, got courtesy ran for, and that runner came around the score. And then in the 5th, walked, and that courtesy runner came around the score. So he's at least semi-responsible for 2 of the runs here today. It's always impressive. As the 1-0 check swing, they say he went for it. And we'll even it out at a 1-1 count. Although the upcoming schedule is a little confusing for the champions, the next concrete game we have comes a little over a week from now. Champions have a really tough schedule in about 2 weeks, as this pitch misses inside, and we'll go to a 2-1 count. But you have St. Rita on Monday the 15th. That's an away game. And then number 2 in the state, Nazareth Academy, on the Wednesday the 17th. And home against Jones, who's a top 3 team in the Jack Robinson South, on the 18th. That's a night game, as this one misses outside. Though if those teams play in a city playoff game, I'm not sure if that game will happen. We will have to see. As we ready for the 3-1 to Joshua, trying to keep this inning going. He will, at least for 1 more pitch. Battles this one back, and we'll go to a 3-2. Jeffrey Kapp waits on deck. Louis Darishin in the hole here for the champions with 2 away off of pair of outs by pinch hitters, Seward and Katz, as Joshua calls time here. Joshua, one of 2 3-year varsity players for the champions, who are seniors right now, along with his teammate on both travel and high school, Josh Katz, as this one misses low for a ball, and Joshua will draw a walk. And then also Louis Darishin had some experience 2 years ago, came up for the playoffs his sophomore year, but Katz and Joshua were on that team the whole year. As Jeffrey Kapp comes to the plate, Teo Greco moves in as the courtesy runner once again. Kapp has reached all 3 times. Single, a walk, and a single reach on air. So only one of those is going to count as a hit. But it's been a good day of reaching for Kapp, as first pitch hits the zone for a strike. And the most important of those ones was the reach via the air, because it kept it from being any outs in the 5th, and then he ended up scoring a run as the throw to first is wild. Greco's going to at least get 2. They're going to probably send him to third. They are, as the right fielder gets it but throws it in. Late throw there from Lejeune, and the Champions have more insurance in scoring position as Greco turns a wild pickoff attempt into a runner at third base now for the Champions. One pitch only thrown so far by Diaz to Cap. He fires this one towards right field. Chasing after it is Lejeune, and it will travel into the bullpen. So quickly an 0-2 count now on the righty Cap, who will try to keep this inning going. We saw 2 outs, but that walk drawn by Joshua has extended this inning by at least a little bit. Lane Tech will need 3 outs defensively to clinch this game in the 7th. Pitch. Up the middle will drop in right center field. Another hit for Cap, an RBI single, and the Champions have a 4-1 lead. Teo Greco easily scores from third base. And just like that, a 3-run ball game now. Cap with his 4 for each and his 2nd single of the day. Greco with his 3rd run, all off of courtesy running. As Derishin comes to the plate looking for his 2nd hit of the day. First pitch bounces in the dirt. They'll keep Cap at first base there. Jack Sir waits on deck. Bottom of the 6th, a 4-1 lead for the Champions here on Senior Day 2023. Lefty Diaz fires up the pitch. Bounce towards third will go foul for a strike. 0-1. Almost a nice play there by the Lane Tech manager, Sean Freeman, acting as third base coach right now for Lane Tech, but just couldn't get his hands on it. But either way, an 0-1 on Derishin. Cap with a shallow lead over there at first base. The pitch. Same exact place. This one will stay fair, though. Should be playable for Villalobos, and he will get it in time for a 5-3 putout. But Jeffrey Cap with an RBI single scores Teo Greco, and the Champions have a 4-1 lead heading into the final inning of play. It's the Champions 4, the Hope Academy Eagles 1. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. to the top of the 7th, 4-1 lead for the Lane Tech champions over the Hope Academy Eagles here at Kerrywood Field on Senior Day 2023, as we see the 15th and final senior for the champions make his debut here on senior night. Rohan Thurivatikal, the senior left-hand pitcher, will try to earn the save. It's been a great day pitching for the champions. Lucino Sotelo went 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, no walks. And then how about Zach Sharp? 3 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And now we'll see if Thurivatikal can close out the job, as first pitch misses high. We'll go to 1-0 count. Here in the top of the 7th. Just about 12 o'clock local time here, as this one skied high, foul territory. Jack Sir chasing after it and will just lose it off of his glove. Misjudged it, went about a foot too far to his right, and as a result, had to jump back at the last second. Goes off his glove, and we'll have just a 1-1 count here on the 4-hitter for the Eagles. Villalobos, the starting pitcher turned third baseman in tonight's game. Lefty is 1 for 2 today. Line to the shortstop his last time up. This time we'll line it towards left field and over the head of Contreras there. And one runner is going to be aboard here with a double in the top of the 7th. So don't count out the Eagles just yet. They're not going to give up that easily, as a double gets us going here in the 7th inning. For a second there, it looked like Contreras might have a play on that ball, but ends up just carrying a little too much. As Jorge Matos will come to the plate, center fielder tonight, wearing a pink wrist. Not sure if that's a protector or what that is, but right on his right arm. 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts, as first pitch rings up a strike on the inside part of the plate. Eagles need 3 to force the bottom of the 7th, 4 to take the lead. As a big swing and a miss here on a high strike from the senior left-hander Thurivatikal, and we'll see if he can get his first strikeout of the outing, his first out of the outing here tonight on the 0-2. The pitch, and one's down low. We'll extend the at-bat for at least one more pitch. Centennial waits on deck for the Eagles, the 6-hitter. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters, usually the heart of the lineup, have gone a combined 2 for 6 here today. This one misses low, and Shashua will come out to have a quick word with the pitcher. Matos recently got an Illinois State Games invite, just like Lane Tech's junior Ethan Borgren, so they'll be competing at that PBR star-studded event in August. Perfect Game has him ranked as the number 19th outfielder in the class of 2025 in Illinois. And looking to come up with a key hit here instead, gets rung out on an inside curveball. Backwards K for the first out here in the top of the 7th. So it'll be 1 on, 1 away for Cam Centennial, who is 0 for 2 tonight. A line out to right field, a ground out to shortstop. We'll see what the junior can do here. Matt Mendez, the current shortstop, waits on deck. First pitch inside, and that one just misses the strike zone. Hard to tell on those inside pitches which are going to be called up as strikes and which are just a little too far left for the ump's liking. 1-0. bunt laid down. Thurivatko gets it. The lefty throw, the first is in time, and I think Lane Tech will take that. Advances the runner to third, but with a 3-run lead and now 2 outs with just 1 runner on, Lane's got to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now. So the sacrifice bunt moves us to 2 away. At third base sits Villalobos. And Matt Mendez, who's 1 for 2, a single in the second, but a strikeout his last time up, will take the first pitch for a strike. Lane Tech 2 strikes away from a senior day victory here in 2023. Hoping they can send their 15 seniors off right. Obviously, still a lot more games to be played, but a win would be nice. As swing and a miss on the strike 2 from Mendez. As the Lane Tech dugout gets loud, trying to close out a win here on this Saturday morning. Runner takes the lead at third base, time called here by Mendez. Sophomore Mendez versus a senior Thurivatko. The pitch hit towards third. Darishing gets it. The throw across the diamond is in time. And how about that? The same play that the duo won the city championship last year will end senior day with a victory here in 2023. 4-1 is your final score as the Lane Tech champions beat the Hope Academy Eagles here 4-1 on this senior day 2023. A very, very impressive performance. Champions put up 3 in the 6th, they put up 2 in the 5th inning, 1 in the 6th after a very silent first 4 innings. And the pitching, wow, Lane Tech only gives up 4 hits here today. Only 2 of those coming after the first inning. 1 hit given up in the second, 1 in the 7th, only run given up in the first. An excellent pitching performance out of Lucino Sotelo, Zach Sharp, and Rohan Thurivatko. We don't know exactly when we're going to be back on air, but we know it's going to be the city playoffs, and we know it's going to be Tuesday. We assume it's going to be at home. We just don't know a time or an opponent yet, but make sure you stay tuned to Max Preps and Lane Tech's Baseball's Twitter and all that for the details on that. But that's just about going to do it for us here on this Senior Day 2023. Lane Tech sends off their 15 seniors with a Senior Day victory. Now we'll see if they can get a second straight city title for this class of 2023. A great win for the champions tonight over Hope Academy. That's sure to help with state seeding come Monday. That's just about all the time we have for today. Your final score from Kerrywood Field. It's the Lane Tech champions 4, the Hope Academy Eagles 1. My name's Alex Burstein. Good night.